Isfet, the opposite of Mayat. Evil, chaotic, and/or imbalanced energy. Keep in mind, I would ultimately argue, they say, Mayat is balanced, right? Mayat is balanced, Mayat is balanced, Mayat is harmonious. I would ultimately argue, because and I'll get to the slide, I'm reconfiguring what Mayat means. Right? It is not, Mayat in and of itself is not balance. Balance is achieved if you merge Mayat and Mayafa together, Mayat and Isfet together. That's balance. That's my critique of the Asantis and the Karangas and the Cheryl Grills. Right? To have simply, solely, and only good energy, or positive energy, Mayatian energy, is essentially a form of imbalance. Isfet is necessary. We all have it. You all have chaos, or we all have imbalance riding inside of us. The goal is not to eliminate it. You can't anyway. The goal is to center the energy. Right? So oftentimes people of this perspective would offer an example of, they would say, for instance, try and think about yin and yang or mayat ma'af or negative and positive energy like the battery. The battery requires for it to work. It requires, one more time, it requires a positive and a negative charge. If it simply was a positive charge there, the battery would not work. If it was a negative charge, guess what? The battery would not work. But the fusion of the two that's now the fusion of positive and negative energy creates the battery. And that's ultimately what I'm arguing, right? To figure out how to tap into Ma'afa and Mayat in such a way that we can understand human energy. Interestingly enough, really quickly, Howard Stevens, a very popular psychologist at the University of Pennsylvania, has a very popular theory called the both-and theory. He would argue to understand black boys in the street or anybody else, we must argue them from this perspective, Mayat and Mayafa. We are both-and people. We are good and bad people. We are smart and stupid people, right? We get it right and we get it wrong, depending on who we are, depending on the context of the situation. We are Mayat and Mayafa at the same time. Next. Right, Ma'afa, the other word to it. Also, Ma'afa has meant great disaster, but Ma'afa oftentimes is used to talk about the African slave trade. So it's often referred to as Ma'afa. Particularly the middle passage is often identified as Ma'afa. So, great disaster and a widespread dehumanizing destruction of a people. Ma'afa. Next. Right? The importance of Mayafa. So again, Cheryl Krills speaks of the importance of Mayafa. Right? We need negative energy. We need to understand the negative energy. We need to incorporate the energy. Right? So for Grills, Ma'afa clarifies the manner or way in which Africans appeared in the American context. Ma'afa represents when, where, and how we were disconnected from African reality. Ma'afa represents, or it disrupts the identity by creating this, meaning Ma'afa disrupted the identity, African identity, by creating a spiritual void. And Ma'afa is important to understand because in retracing, it helps us to retrace the contours of African oppression. Or Ma'afa is the pathway back to healing. No, it isn't about shelving and eliminating and leaving alone a Ma'afa. Know about the negative, develop an intimate relationship with all the negative experiences that happen to your life, that happen in your life. And use those experiences to heal. Conversely, ignoring or dismissing negative experiences is not how we properly heal the psychology of African people. Retracing those moments is how we do that. Next, golden rule of Isfet or Mayafa. Like I just mentioned, we all have it. Next, right? Shifting negative behavior. For scientists, we talk about shifting attitudes and behavior. At the end of the day, attitudes and behavior is not a great way of predicting. Attitude is not a great way of predicting behavior. I may know I'm overweight, but I'll still eat. Right? I may know selling drugs is bad, but I'll still sell it. At the end of the day, it's about shifting energy, not attitudes and behavior. Next, Mayat helps us to do this. Mayat is a cosmic order. Ancient Egyptians created these signs that were watered down by the Greeks. Right? These are 12 signs of energy, 12 types of persons. These ultimately represents the bloodline, the 12 bloodlines that the world or the earth or humanity emerges out of. These are watered down versions of what once was. This was the first form of psychology, and it was a real science, mathematical, statistical. It really was a way to predict human behavior. All right, so I call for a return to this. the original form of psychology, the original form of understanding human energy. Next. And I reconceptualized with something called the 12 energies of Ma'at, particularly for the streets of Black America. My goal is to understand the energy of street life-oriented Black men. Understand it in such a way that I can change it. But these are the 12, real fast. Security and stability energy. You have health energy, humor energy, sexuality energy, physicality energy, social energy, education energy, community energy, artistic energy. You have an animal energy, right? Love, intimacy, or companionship energy, or spirituality energy. The goal, these are 12 drives that ride inside you. You can't turn them off. They're always going. They're always going. The goal is to center them. It's to balance them. Each versions of these have a Ma'at and a Ma'afa dimension to them. So there is a negative and a positive side to your health. There is a negative and positive side to your sexuality. There's a negative and positive